What's up, you guys? I'm getting ready to cook the chicken that I got earlier today, and I just want to show you something. Check this out. Okay, so I opened up the bag and decided I was going to rinse off the chicken before I start to prep it and boil it and all that. And I got one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 pieces of chicken. And I know that this says 14 on here. So unless they're counting one piece of chicken as 2 servings, then they just need to say 7 pieces of chicken in the bag instead of making this gigantic bag for 7 pieces of chicken, because that doesn't make sense. Just say it's 7 pieces of chicken and be done with it, okay? Because that's basically saying 1 piece of chicken is for 2 people, or you're gonna get 2 servings of chicken. Who does that? All right, so I'm putting the chicken in the pot, and I'm just gonna add water and a little bit of salt or whatever, and then we're going to boil it for a few minutes before we put it in the oven. All right. Just enough to cover it a little bit. That ought to be good. Okay, so I got the pot on the stove, and we're just gonna use some basic seasonings. We got salt, we got pepper, and we got some Lawry's. All right, so we're just gonna put a little pepper in here. Pepper. All right. Some salt. I'm gonna add salt, a little bit more salt later before I put it in the on a pan. But this is just basic seasoning. All right, just to get it so it's just not boiling in plain water. All right, so we'll turn the oven on high to get it boiling right away, or the stove anyway. And we'll check back once that gets to boiling. So while I'm waiting on the chicken to boil, I'm feeling some type of way about that bag of chicken, because you already can't see what's in it because there's so much prints and images and all that on there. Let's see. I mean, look at that. You can't like look down into the bag. Front and back is covered up, and I think they do that on purpose, because if you could see that there was only 7 pieces of chicken in there, you probably wouldn't get it. You know, I might as well just go get the other one. But hey, you know, it was $4 and some change or whatever it was, and I'm just gonna rock with it. So instead of having 14 pieces of chicken that I expected when I first bought it, and that was one of the main reasons why I bought it, we now have 7. So with 2 adults and 2 children, that's gonna make maybe a piece of chicken for each child. That leaves 5 pieces of chicken left. So between the adults, one will have 3 pieces and one will have 2 pieces. But I'm probably not going to eat 3 pieces of chicken in one sitting. Maybe 2 pieces. And then there'll be, if you have maybe like a bigger or older child, it'll just be, 2 pieces for the adults each. And then one of the children will get 2 pieces, and the last child will get the 1 piece. So, it's 2, 4, 6, and then 7 pieces of chicken. So, anyhow, I hope the rice is not going to be a disappointment, even though it is a pretty little bag. But I think it's gonna be all right. But we'll see how it turns out, because this here says a quarter cup is a serving size, and it's probably gonna be cooked, I'm guessing, because the rice is gonna swell. But anyhow, got the rice here. I don't know if you guys can read that. That's probably backwards. Yeah, but anyhow, it says 1/4 cup dry. So if it expands, you probably get a half a cup per serving. But anyhow, the juices are swirling inside the pot. Let me show you that here real quick. All right, so them juices are swirling around. It's getting nice and hot inside there. And soon we're gonna have a little something to boil. All right, back in a second. All right, so now that the chicken is boiling a little bit, I'm just doing this basically because it shortens the time that it's in the oven, and it partially cooks it. So outside of that, it's smelling really good. But we're gonna shut off the stove, and we're gonna prep the pan so that we can get it in the oven and get it to baking. All right, see you in a second. All right, so about 10 minutes is all you want to boil it on, because if you boil it much more than that, it's going to cook all the way through, and as you can see, it's still bloody, but it's going to fully cook when you bake it in the oven. So I'm just going to set that right there. Like I said, this speeds up the process of baking and ensures that it's thoroughly cooked, because if you just bake it raw, I think it takes a little bit more time. And this gets it like more ready to fall off the bone by the time it's done. So, at least in my experience. There's a bunch of different ways you can cook this, but this is the way I normally cook it. And I'm trying to do this with my left hand, so just bear with me. All right. Also, if you have a pan, you kind of want to wrap it in foil because it's going to get messy. Plus, when you put barbecue and stuff on it, it makes the cleanup easier once you're done. All right, so if y'all have any tips or tricks, or if you see something that I'm doing that you guys would do differently, I'm not gonna say wrong, but I'll say differently, hit me up in the comments. Let me know, what do you guys normally do? How do you prepare your chicken if you do cook it this way? Again, if you do cook it all the way, you can certainly continue boiling it, but I'm just gonna slap a little salt over like that. And I got the oven preheating. I set it to 375. That's a good round number. And all right. Throw a little bit of seasoning salt on here. I can just hear the comment section filling up right now. That's all right. I asked for it, so I'm just keeping it real. This is how I would cook it anyway. So what we're gonna do is flip these over so we can get the other side. And to give you all the fast forward, What I'm going to do after these bake, maybe about 10 minutes before they're done, I normally baste it with barbecue sauce and then let it finish cooking and getting all nice and barbecuey the last 10-15 minutes. All right. And that would be the phone. But busy right now. All right, and last but not least, a little bit of seasoning salt. And that will be the oven preheating, or being done preheated. Flip these back over because we want the skin side up, because that's the presentation side right there. All right. All right, 7 pieces of chicken. Back in a minute. All right, so the chicken is going in the oven just now, and I'm gonna close that up, and we're gonna set the timer. Let's go for 45. Actually, we'll go for 35, and then when that's up, we'll cook it for 10 or 15 more minutes after we put the barbecue sauce on it, and go from there. Back in a bit. All right. So, all right. Oh, steam. All right. So the chicken is in there and it's cooked. Steam got away quick. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, and then I'm going to baste it with some barbecue sauce. So pretty much what I did was I took some of the leftover barbecue. This is not sponsored, blah 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 blah, and some Great Value, and I just mixed them together, put them in my little bowl here, and then that's what we're gonna use. So hold tight. Okay, and we're back, and just gonna take some of this sauce. I'm trying to do this with my left hand. And we're just gonna cover the chicken up a little bit. Just give it a good coat. And then there's a couple ways you can either put the oven on broil, and broil will like super fry it. It'll glaze it and get it all nice and barbecuey right before you take it out of the oven. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to let it get a good coat on there, and then let it go for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll check it again. All right, almost done. So I'm gonna have to flip these and then throw them back in the oven. So I'll hit y'all up in just a second. So, all right, we're back. So you might be asking yourself, why didn't you put the barbecue on before you put it in the oven? Well, the reason why you don't want to do it before is because when it gets done cooking, you won't know if it's fully cooked through, because you got all this red on here, and you won't know if it's done all the way through. So what you do is you add the barbecue at the end. That way you can inspect the chicken and make sure it's thoroughly cooked inside. So I've done this a couple times, so I kind of have a good idea about how it should look, and about how much time it should be in the oven for, so that it's done all the way. But anyhow, I've just finished getting the sauce all over it, top and bottom. And what I'm going to do now is put it back in the oven. And while that's in the oven, I am going to prepare the rice. So hold that thought. All right, chicken back in the oven. We're going to let that go for another 15 to 20 minutes. And while we're letting that go, we're going to prep our rice. All right, guys, we are back. So we're about to make the rice, but I'm going to tell you that there is a trick that's very simple to making good rice and to make it come out every time. The formula is this. It's 2 to 1, right? It's 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. All right, so when you do this, just remember it's always 2 to 1. You have to double the amount of water that you're putting for the rice because the rice is going to expand. So as long as and 20 minutes is the magic number. 20 minutes that you're gonna have to do this. So, all right, I'm pouring 1 cup of rice. All right. Let's see. All right, that is just under 1 cup. All right, so we got just about 1 cup, and we're going to pour it in the bowl. Why do we do that? Because if you do it the other way around, I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. It's about to be a disaster. All right, here we go. All right, hold still. Nah, hold on. Be right back. All right, so got 2 cups of, we're gonna call that chicken stock. All right, that's your boiled water from the chicken juice earlier. All right, so got our pot here. We're gonna throw that on high. High. All right, and we are going to pour our chicken stock. Get that boiling. The best thing about using the chicken stock is that it flavors the rice as it cooks. So the recipe for cooking rice, like I said before, is pretty simple. You have to boil the water, get it boiling, and once the water is boiling, then you dump in your rice. Then you put the lid on, and then you turn it down to simmer. I usually put it down on the 2, right? And then you set your time for 20 minutes. No more, no less. And then when it's done, boom, bam. Perfect rice every time. All right, so we're going to give this a second to boil, and then we'll check back here in a second. All right, so everything's boiling. This one we got to drop our rice in there fast because otherwise it's going to overboil. All right, all at once. All right. Bring back to a boil. It's going to happen pretty quick. And as soon as it comes back to a boil, we're going to throw the lid back on it and then turn it down to 2. And since we have 5 more minutes on our timer for the chicken, we're just going to add another 15 minutes for the rice. Total of 20. And in 5 minutes, we'll check the chicken. And also, I got to get the green beans going. So we'll have barbecue baked chicken, rice, and then boom, bam, green beans. Alrighty, so I went ahead and opened up 2 cans of French style green beans, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. It gives it a little bit of heat, and all I'm gonna do is flash boil these because they just really need to be warmed up. So we'll get that And then that leaves about 12 minutes on the rice. And by the time that's done, boom, bam. All right. So when that's boiling, we'll check the rice. You can see it's boiling nicely. And then we'll do the final reveal. Actually, I should have pulled the chicken out, so I'm about to do that right now. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. All right, I'm going to shut the oven off. Bake off. All right. Let's move this out the way. We'll move these out the way. Move the juice out the way. So, we'll just have to let these two finish playing. And actually, I'll make some room here in a second. All right, be back in a second. All right, so just pulled the chicken out of the oven, and that is looking mighty tasty. All right, so we just got the rice. That's gotta go. Another 9 more minutes on that, and that's still boiling. It's getting close to boiling anyway. But once it gets nice and hot, then we'll shut everything down, serve up some plates, and we'll call this a wrap. All right, so I just shut that off. I just got finished flash boiling. We got 3 minutes left on the rice, and that'll be it. So obviously I put salt and pepper into the beans because otherwise you're not gonna have any flavor because it's just boiling with plain water. You're just gonna have the bean juice that came out of the can, but if you wanted to spice it up a little bit, of course, put some salt, put some pepper, and put whatever else you want to add with it. All right, and look at that, perfect. And the chicken is over here cooling down. Yeah. All right, see you in 2 minutes. All right, timer off and remove from heat. All right, so let's go ahead and look. Perfect. Give a quick stir. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. As you can see, the rice is nice and loose. It's not stuck together or anything. It's got some chicken flavor. And you don't have to put any extra salt with it if you don't want, because the chicken stock salted it in the first place. So, all right. So I'm gonna serve up some plates real quick, and because we're doing this on a $7.50 budget, we're gonna do it with paper plates. All right, so that concludes the $7.50 meal, or the minimum wage special. You got barbecue chicken, barbecue baked chicken, rice, and green beans, French style. So, comment below if you like this video. Please like it. If you loved it, please subscribe. And I know you guys are going to fire me up in the comments, so please do. I'd love to hear it. If you have any suggestions or tips or tricks on something that you might do differently, please share, because I read all the comments. All right, talk to you guys later. Peace.